Good morning students. Myself Pratibha. Today I am going to teach you second chapter from civics class 10, Federalism. In this chapter we discuss what is federalism, means definition. Second, what makes India a federal country. Third, how is federalism practiced. Fourth, decentralization in India. Now let's we start. What is federalism? Federalism is a system of government in which power is constitutionally divided between the national or central government and various regional units. Each government is autonomous. Federalism allows two sets of identities. People belong to the region as well as the country. Example, one can be an Assamese as well as an Indian. The national government in a federation holds powers related to common national interests like defense, foreign policy, finance, and planning for growth and development, rail, road, communication. The provincial or state governments hold powers related to regional interests like language, culture, local development, law and order. The central and state governments have independent. Now, we understand the difference between unitary system and federal system. Under the unitary system, real and effective power are vested in the hands of the national or union government. The center can transfer some of its power to regional levels on its own. Okay, so the central government can pass orders to the provincial or regional governments which are subordinate to it. But in a federal system, the original governments are not subordinate to the center. Hence, it cannot pass order to them. State or regional governments are not answerable to the central government. Both the set of governments are separately answerable to their legislature or to the people. It means for us. Now, we discuss the major key features of federalism. The first point, there are two or more tiers of levels of government like central, state or local government. Second, various levels of government rule or administrator the same citizen, but each level has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of administration, taxation. Third, the Constitution guarantees existence and authority of each tier of government. Powers and function of various levels of governments are clearly mentioned in the Constitution. All the important points are mentioned in Constitution, so we are follow. Amendment or modification of basic features of the Constitution cannot be done by any level of government. It requires the consent of both levels of government. The prevent conflicts between the center and the regional units. There is an independent judiciary to settle disputes. The court have been vested with powers to settle disputes over distribution of power. The highest court of the land is the final and supreme interpreter of the laws of the land. The two main objectives of federal government are: first, to safeguard and promote unity and integrity of the country; second, to accommodate regional diversity. So now we can check it. the power sharing is working or not. How can we balancing the power sharing? We understand this term in two ways. First, coming together. Second, holding together. An ideal federal system is based on mutual trust of constituent units of federation, an agreement to live together and abide by the constitutional provisions. But the balance of power between the central and state governments is slightly tilted toward the former of the latter, depending on the historical context of formation of federation. Formation of federation has either been from below or above. The first route involves coming together of independent states or constitutes on their own to form a bigger unit. They sought to increase their security and development by pulling together their sovereignty but retaining identity. Like example, the 13 states of America initially came together to form a federation called the United States of America. This type of coming together federation include the USA, Switzerland and Australia. In this category, the constituent states have equal powers and the balance of power is slightly tilted towards them. They are strong, the federal government. The second route of formation of a federation is where a big country decide to distribute power between the center and the states or constitute units. This is called holding together federation. India, Spain, Belgium are good examples of this category. In this category, the balance of power is slightly tilted toward the center. The center government is generally more powerful. The states. Some units are guaranteed unequal or special powers. In case of India, the state of Jammu and Kashmir had more powers prior to 5th August 2019 under the provision of Articles 35A and 370 of the Indian Constitution. The Government of India revoked the special status of Jammu and Kashmir in August 2019 through a presidential order and the passage of resolution in Parliament. The Union territories have less powers as compared to the states. Now, what makes India a federal country? So, the Constitution declared India as a union of states, although it did not use or specify the word federation. The Indian Union is based on the principles of federalism. We find that most of the features of federalism mentioned above apply to the provisions of Indian Constitution. Originally, the Constitution provided for two sets of government, one at the center and other at the state level. Later on, a third tier of government in the form of panchayats and municipalities was added in 1992. As we shall see, each tier has separate and distinct set of powers. The Constitution has made clear-cut provisions for the subjects on which the central and the state governments can pass laws. This clearly states the division of powers between the center and the state governments. They come under different lists of subjects and are called the union list, the state list and the concurrent list. So we discuss first list, the union list. Subjects of national interest come under this list. For examples, defense, foreign affairs, currency, atomic energy, banking, communication are included in this list. They are included in this list because we need a uniform policy on this matter throughout the country. Only the central government can pass laws and subject mentioned in this list. Our second list, the state list. It contains subject of state and local importance. Subjects like police, local government, trade and commerce within the state and agriculture are included in this list. Third list, the concurrent list. The Constitution has provided a third list which has subjects which are the common concern of both the center and the state governments. In ordinary circumstances, both can frame law on these subjects, but if there is a conflict between a central law and a state law over a subject in the concurrent list, then the central law would be effective. This list includes subjects like criminal and civil, marriage and divorce, education, economic planning and trade union.